"15 secret fishing weapons. This is going to be good." Lena, what is the matter?
Oh, Ole, it is so sad. You know, Olga's little dog Ingrid.
Yeah?
Olga had to have him put to sleep. He was so old and miserable. He couldn't use his hind legs or even wag his little tail.
That's very sad, Lena. I know how much Olga loved that little Ingrid. She's had him for what, 14 or 15 years?
That's right, 15 years. He used to come running to her and jump up on her lap, but he got so he couldn't even walk. He would just lie there. He couldn't even get up to relieve himself, so Olga made him little diapers that she was washing all the time. Putting him to sleep was the right thing to do, but Olga is still very sad about it. I went with her to the vet, and she held him on her lap while he took his last breaths.
Lena, what did you and Olga do then?
Well, after the vet took Ingrid away, first I gave her a big hug. Then I told her it was the right thing to do, and that now Ingrid's suffering was over, and he had gone across the rainbow bridge to heaven. I told her that when she got to heaven herself, she'd see Ingrid again, and he'd come running and jump up on her lap and lick her face.
Lena, that was a nice thing to say, and I hope it helped Olga. But you know that it isn't true.
What do you mean it isn't true? Dogs go to heaven, and cats and horses.
Lena, animals don't go to heaven. They don't have the souls.
Oh, that's the meanest thing you ever said.
I didn't mean it to be mean. And I wouldn't ever say it to Olga. But it's the truth. Animals don't go to heaven because they don't have souls.
Ole, lots of religious leaders wouldn't agree with you. You know my friend Hannah was LDS? Well, she told me that Joseph Smith, who founded the LDS Church, taught that animals would be resurrected. And so did another of their prophets, Joseph Fielding Smith. He taught that the animals, the fishes, and the birds would all be resurrected and go to heaven.
Well, that's all very fine for the Mormons.
The LDS, the Latter-day Saints. That's what they like to be called, not the Mormons.
That's fine for the Latter-day Saints. But we're not Latter-day Saints. We're Lutherans.
Ole, just because we don't believe everything the same as them doesn't mean that there aren't things where we do agree. There are other church leaders who agree too. Billy Graham, for instance, said that animals go to heaven. He said that in heaven, everything he would need to be happy would be there. And if he needed his old dog, he would be there too.
Yeah, Lena, that's just fine for the Baptists. It's still okay to say Baptist, isn't it? But we're not Baptists, we're Lutherans. I suppose next you'll be bringing up the Pope.
Well, as a matter of fact, Ole, Pope Francis think of this quote. Be thou comforted, little dog. Thou too in resurrection shall have a little golden tail.
That's a little weird, Lena. Who said that?
Martin Luther.
Martin Luther? He said that?
Yeah? Someone asked him if his little dog Topol and other animals would be in heaven. And Martin Luther said, certainly they will be. For Peter calls that day the time of restitution of all things. Then, as clearly said elsewhere, he will create new Topals with skin of gold and hair of pearls. There and then God will be all in all. Why is it that we cannot believe all things will happen as the Bible says, even in this article of resurrection?
All right, Lena. You've out-talked me again. Maybe in heaven I can win one of these arguments.
Discussion.
That Martin Luther was a very smart man. He translated the whole Bible. If Martin Luther said that, it must be true, but where in the Bible does it say that animals go to heaven?
Yeah, Ole, there's lots of Bible verses about animals seeing God. It's in the Psalms, the prophets, Revelation, even St. Paul wrote about this. And you know what? Pastor Chelsea is preaching a sermon about that this very next Sunday. If you could skip your fishing just once, you'll hear all about that in church sometime. And you can talk to Olga too and tell her how sorry you are about Indy.
You skipped my fishing just once. I was in church not so very long ago.
Yeah, Ole, not that's on Easter.
Easter. All right, Lena, I'll come to church this Sunday. Lena,
Yeah, Ole?
will there be fish in heaven?
Yeah, Ole. You can fish for eternity.
That will be so wonderful.
But just catch and release.
Okay.